Hey everyone, it's Jen from You So Much, and today is Fantasy Friday. And today's quote is, "All kings and queens are not born of royal bloodlines. Some become royal because of what they do once they realize who they are." And that quote is by Pharrell Williams, who many of you may know from the song Happy that he sang and produced. But he has been in the business so much longer than most people realized. He was born in 1973 in Virginia, and he loved music from an early age. Growing up, he was a huge rap fan, and so then he and his buddy Hugo teamed up to become the producing duo known as the Neptunes. And they really got their start because they started working with Jay-Z. Soon after, he started working with Britney Spears and Usher, and did all kinds of producing projects while he was also working on his own career. He did his own voice work on many other people's albums, did guest appearances. He's easily recognized in the Señorita video by Justin Timberlake. And actually his producing work on Justin's album Justified was what got him his first Grammy Award. That's when he really started picking up a little bit more popularity, and he composed the soundtrack for the movie Despicable Me. And then shortly after that, he had two big hits with the work that he did with Robin Thicke on Blurred Lines and with Daft Punk, both of which came out pretty close together. And then almost right after that is when his big hit Happy came out, which was this huge happy celebration that really caught on around the world. And pretty much now everyone knows who Pharrell is. Since then, he's released more music, has done more producing projects, and he also became one of the coaches on a couple of seasons of The Voice. And this quote is so freaking amazing. I just love it. What he's saying here is that, yeah, there's these kings and queens who are born into the royal family, right? But those are not the only ones who have become kings and queens. Some people have become royal because of what they do when they figure out who they are. And to me, what he's really talking about there is the people in this world who have basically become royalty because of the things that they do. Let's just take, for example, the America's richest. America's richest millionaires, billionaires, about 60 to 70% of them are self-made. And I don't think he's just talking, though, about the richest. He's talking about those people in the world, celebrities, writers, politicians, people who have incredible influence and impact in this world. They are royalty because of what they do. And it's not just what they do, it's what they do because they've realized who they are, which is basically that they are royalty. And to me, what that is saying is that we are all royalty. We are all kings and queens. If we can just realize that. We are kings and queens, we just have to realize who we are. If we can see ourselves as the royalty that we are already, then we can achieve our biggest dreams. We can fulfill our biggest fantasies. And to me, this is the power of fantasy and storytelling, because storytelling allows us to see ourselves in those kings and queens. We see ourselves in those superheroes that we watch on TV, that we read about in the books. And if we can embody the king and queens that we read about, that we fantasize about, then we can live up to that, right? If we can see ourselves that way, if you could see yourself as a king, if you could see yourself as the queen that you are, how would you act? What example would you set for other people? And how would you treat the people that are around you? And how would you treat yourself? You know, it reminds me a little bit of one of my favorite queens, Queen Beyonce, how she has an alter ego when she goes on stage. She calls herself Sasha Fierce. And when she first started the business, she used to do that because it allowed her to be able to step into that character when she was on stage. It allowed her to get over those fears of who she might or might not be versus who Sasha Fierce is, right? And so if we can do the same thing, if we can embody that king and queen that we were born to be, then we can become that king and queen, right? We can be just as powerful. We can be just as influential. And especially in this world when there's so much at our fingertips, we can make a video and put it up on YouTube the next day, right? We can write a story and self-publish it on Amazon. We can write a poem and it can become viral across the interwebs because we have so many tools in our hands, and all we have to do is be that leader and step into it as that king and queen that we are born as. So I challenge you to do something today, right now, that you would do, that you will do, because you know now, you know who you are. I'd love to hear about it. Leave in the comments below, and I hope you can clap along because you're happy. All right, thank you guys for being here. As always, don't forget to write down your fantasies because words make it real, right? Let's make it happen. Tell me below. All right, thanks. Bye.